we can go cards up in 3, 2, 1. This is the place.
I must say, it is quite nice. You have good taste, I will admit.
It's not as... It looks really nice, but it doesn't have this sort of price tag to match. I didn't want to do something like that when it's just something friendly. They said they reserved one of the rooms upstairs since I said that it was bringing a friend. I believe it was this one here. Looks like they already kind of set out some stuff in advance. It's the sort of place where they have the more traditional seating for where I'm from, so...
That's perfectly fine, love, I will admit.
Okay. I hope this isn't anything that isn't unsuitable for your tastes. I don't know if I didn't know if it was something that would have to be specially catered for, considering the subclass.
I have to admit my regard in this case. I may seem like a whole, I guess, what's the best way to put this? Fancy person, probably, when people sometimes take a look at me. But taking account in the simple things in life is a lot better when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have any... It's not something I have a huge issue with. It's more just I don't normally go out and do stuff with people too often, so I'm not really exactly sure how to best host sort of things, but I did say yes, and it would have been rude to, change my mind, so I tried to think of something.
Well, I appreciate that you said yes. I would have been fine if you said no. I wouldn't have been offended, I will say that.
After the way that people have been acting the last couple of days, I really didn't want to, add to that.
I guess that's fair in this regard, and people say I'm starting issues between the parties even though I haven't done anything. The most that's ever happened is that Kurasu decided to kick me after I touched the wing, but I will admit the kick was most splendidly nice. But that's nor here nor there in this regard.
Right. Considering, at least, I don't really know exactly how harpy physiology works, but I imagine it's probably a more sensitive area for them to be able to fly properly, if my knowledge of IRL birds translates into game logic. So it was probably because of that. That said... I hope I wasn't overstepping by at least trying to kind of get people to be a bit more normal. Like, I'm sure part of the joy is the whole getting a reaction thing, but I was a little bit worried, I guess, that the way some people are acting, I didn't want it to get to a point where, like, they want to tell you to leave or something, because you'd still be in the situation and without support, you know?
Well, in terms of everything, I will say first off, I do appreciate your sentiment of making sure everyone was acting normal in this regard, and we all have a sort of level head to try to get through this whole entire debacle. Make things a lot more easier. Because, as I said before to a couple of party members, the reason why I wasn't panicking in this regarded situation is that if you panic, your mind isn't clear, thus making you do reactions and actions that you don't intend to have. A clear mind makes things a lot more easier to make things understandable to you.
I mean, I was panicked at first too, but once it kind of, minus the whole everything physically felt real part and, well, having to actually do things, once it kind of felt more like I could rationalize it more as a game, old habits kicked in and treat it more like fun. It's the only way to, I guess, keep sane with it is just trying not to think about how real it all is. I guess if there was a matter of trying not to get people to panic, was that trying to ground them by some normal level of things to be fixated on instead of help, I'm trapped in a game. It's help, someone's flirting with me and I don't know what to do.
Well, to be frank, Dolly, I flirt with everyone.
I noticed. It was, I've never had to deal with that in person before, so I'm not very well suited for handling that sort of thing. And even this is a bit difficult, but I feel like part of it is a little bit easier, and that there's not other people nearby egging it on, like making it weird. I just wanted to do something nice, I guess.
You have a kind heart, Lucia, I will admit.
It's what I figured would probably be the right thing to do if by someone who's more socially experienced with being around people. The most I ever had is just running into people at work in the past, and I mean, I'm sure you know it all too well. Like, the people at work are the people at work. They're not your friends unless you go out of your way to make them such, and, well, I never really cared to do that because I just wanted to get there, get paid, and leave.
I mean, that is a form of society that some people live by. They go to work, do what they have to do, and leave. Not saying it's a bad way to live, but it's bland, if you ask me. It's why I take time to try to talk to others who I work with, understand their story, their background. Because I said this to Asami at camp actually. Understanding one's full person depends how much you can trust them. And knowing that we're all stuck in this situation, trust goes a long way. So,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Considering, I mean, even the most experienced of us only have 6 months, I believe it was, in this world. Nobody's an expert on anything yet. Playing the game long term and living it are two entirely different things from what impressions I've been getting. And the last thing I think that would help anyone's situation, considering the costs of living in that world is it's not beneficial for people to be at each other's throats when, if we're gonna make it anywhere there, we need to be able to count on each other. So, I'm not really the best at the sort of small talk things, but
Your favorite game?
right. I think I remember telling you that I played something else beforehand, much more religiously, maybe is the best way to put it. It was the thing I looked forward to doing every time I came home from work, and it was pretty much the only pastime I had. It was a different game series. A lot of them are usually standalone RPGs, but this one was an MMO, kind of like Elder Tale, called Last Legend 14. I was really good at that one. Like, stupid good. I didn't like do any of the super competitive stuff, but the really high-end, like, non-PvP content things I played a lot. It was my favorite. Honestly, I was working on something a little bit before saying I would take a little bit of a break from it and try out the game that, well, my friend said, hey, if you like that, you'd probably like this. I have something that I can give you that might make it feel a bit more familiar to you. And that was how I got into initially started with Elder Tale, and I had only maybe been playing for about a day. They had met me in, like, after the starting experience, traded me the stuff and said, use this, play around with it, get used to it. We can meet later today to actually like play the game together. And you know the rest. Never got that chance to actually meet up with them. Haven't gotten any sort of message in the past couple of days. At least anywhere I could see. I don't know if they're mad, but I don't even know how I would exactly approach them about this in the first place. Like, I could still technically meet them in the game, but I would have to pretend that I was playing from, like, my house. So
It'll be a difficult explanation,
lost.
I would say. But if I were to wager on how they'd act, if they're those who support you, not saying friends, but I would say in this regard, maybe acquaintances, we'll call it. They'll probably...
My definition of friend is a bit narrow, considering most of my friends have been entirely online, and I maybe had only like a small handful, maybe countable on one hand, of people I'd consider friends in person. This is all really new to me, having so many people around that... I mean, I'd like to try to be their friends if I don't somehow upset them by, well, trying to remind people that they're adults.
Well, usually when we play games, our inner child usually comes to play most of the time. So, we tend to fall back on our mindset. Not all of us, per se, but a good majority.
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
So this high-end content you did in this other game, I am curious, what was it like? It piqued my curiosity, honestly.
Well, it depends. There was a couple different, let's call it layers to it. Some of it was more where you, suited for experiencing the story of the content, and then they would have a harder mode of it that is sort of a what if scenario if things were a little bit different, and it's usually when that stuff comes out, it takes maybe a week or two to be able to actually get through all of it with more than a fair share of frustrating near misses and several hours of metaphorically bashing your head against a wall trying to get something right, or worse, when you get it, but the other 7 people you had to play with may not. And only once all of them have come together and gotten the same level of understanding can you make any progress. And then there's my favorite, which is the highest end of it, which is stuff where it's one go all the way through, no checkpoints, maybe like 17 to 18 minutes of having to be focused on stuff where if you make even one mistake, it all falls apart and you have to go all the way back to the beginning. That stuff
So in
takes
short,
tens upon tens, even hundreds of hours of work in the worst cases, if you're unlucky. Well over 1,000 tries on some of the hardest ones, but the end result of doing it is extremely satisfying. I love that sort of a thrill one because not many people can do it effectively, but also just because it's fun. They put their greatest effort into making the best set pieces of what could have been. And, well, it's the sort of thing I love going for, but that sort of style would never work here in this environment. Considering every single time you fail would be a bit more taken off, so I suppose I'm gonna have to change my way of thinking a little bit. So, I won't lie, if that sort of stuff did exist in some capacity, I would be sorely tempted to see just how hard it is over here.
I will admit about something, and me admitting something isn't something I take lightly.
Hmm? What's that?
In all honesty, if I had to choose anyone that I've come across in this guild to lead me through a dungeon, I'd honestly pick you.
Wait, why? I have no experience in this setting. I don't think it's fully transferable knowledge.
Saying or
Why?
not, darling, understand this.
Uh,
You put yourself through numerous of hours to understand these high-end content battles you put yourself through, taking them apart bit by bit, and
uh,
it's admirable. You should be proud of yourself.
they're a puzzle to be solved. Everything at first glance is very difficult to take apart, but every little bit of knowledge earned is something that gets paid forward into figuring out the next, and eventually it becomes a pattern. while the pattern may not be the same every single time, there's a couple rules that it tends to follow, and then once you get that, it goes from being extremely hard to easily understandable and sort of like a dance. Not literally a dance, but it becomes something that you can do without thinking too hard about it.
More or less of a muscle memory.
Yeah,
You
I
take time
I
to
like
build it.
I like recognizing those things when I see them because it's enjoyable to take it apart and try to figure out the logic of whoever created that in the first place, how they figured someone would look at it and approach trying to decipher the complicated mess of mechanics in front of them. And I probably would have done the same here too if, well, I was going about this normally. But it's the sort of thing that I'm good at. I prefer being able to challenge myself a little bit. Even if I guess in this situation it's a bit more adrenaline inducing than it would have in the past, but I can't exactly change who I am just because I changed who I am. Like I said, I wasn't an elf in real life. But around here, there's enough people around that I don't think anyone would have stared at me too closely. The nice thing about life today is that there's so many people from all over the place, no one looks weird, so even if I walked around in my game attire, I probably wouldn't even get too many bizarre stares. I've been talking this whole time. I haven't even let you have a chance.
No, it's fine. In all
Well,
honesty, I love listening to those in conversation. Makes me learn more about them than they bargain for. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
uh,
It's just nice for a change of pace, compared to what others think of me in camp as a, you know, what they say.
someone hunting them down for who knows what sort of thing. Yeah, I've heard it all. It pings in my head constantly. But I guess since it's a bit of a similar topic, why did you choose to start playing?
Well, for me, I wasn't really much into the whole MMO genre, I will admit that.
Hmm.
I was more of a person that was into fighting games. And I would play more of the unorthodox characters. Ones with stances, ones with certain moves that would
The ones
have
people
certain.
called gimmick ones that they didn't think were viable?
Exactly.
Yeah, I know those kinds of people. They're the more fun ones because if they get good at it, then no one knows how to deal with them because no one's ever taken the time to actually try.
And that's why I love said gimmick characters. Not a lot of people play them because unorthodox means unordinary, and unordinary means unreliable to them. When in reality, anything can be reliable. It's just a
Is,
matter of how you use it.
is that why you decided to pick the sort of character you were intending to play here? Considering the whole sunlight issue?
Now that question definitely deserves an answer. The reason I chose to be a vampire, or in this case how the game describes it, a vampinella, it's something that you don't see, from what I understand. Not a lot of people choose it for its own detriment of being in the sun weakens them. On top of that, using blood as a way of healing, in terms of drinking blood in this regard.
Hmm.
Being able to transform into a bat, and having night vision. The only strong upside us vampinellas have is that we're a lot more prominent in darkness under the moonlight. Well, not under the moonlight specifically, but nighttime is the best way to put it.
Hmm. But you're approaching it the same sort of way as the gimmick characters, basically.
Exactly.
Honestly, it's more fun that way. I mean, yes, in the sort of stuff I did, people basically expected you to play the most optimal setup you could. But every now and then, there were still people that went out of their way to try to make it intentionally harder for themselves. Do things that by all means should not have worked, but they figured out a way to make it work. Doing one of those encounters without any healing classes at all, as an example. There was one that did a challenge of how many times could they intentionally die during the encounter and still clear it. The answer, I believe, was a total of 137.
My word, that's amazing.
Yeah, they've broken it apart, abused it, ridiculed it in every possible way. It's very entertaining to watch. I've never tried any of that stuff myself, but I enjoy that there are people willing to at least do something different. And I mean, having everyone be the same person, both socially and in a game, gets very boring quickly. Within reason.
That's fair.
Obviously.
I will say, in this regard, you... How do I put this in the most delicate way possible? I guess with you, compared to everyone else in this regard, you're someone I can actually speak my mind to about things. Because, in reality, from how I've observed our conversation, we're not so different when you think about it. Obviously, I'm more flamboyant than you. That's
flamboyant, far more confident in yourself as a person when it comes to in-person interactions. Yeah, there's some similarities, I won't lie. I don't know how you deal with the kind of reactions that you do with such grace. I mean, yes, it's definitely trying to instigate a reaction out of people, and it works very easily. I've noticed it every single time, but I wouldn't be able to keep something up like that if I kept getting kicked back that many times from people.
There's a reason why I try to solicit a reactions from others. Some on purpose, some on accident, but some are obviously intentional due to the fact that I want to see their true demeanor, how they truly acts.
Wouldn't there be easier ways to do that than having them think that you don't respect their boundaries?
Well, that's the thing, and I told this to Asher earlier. Asking for one's boundaries is so boring, so I'd rather just jump straight in to see if I get burned or not.
Not exactly the sort of thing I'd recommend, but something tells me, regardless of advice given, if it's a way you want to do something, you're going to do it anyways.
You don't know the future, darling. So any advice I will adhere, depending if I listen to it, is all dependent on me in that moment in time. So, if you have advice, I'm willing to hear it.
I don't know if I'm exactly the one who should be qualified to give said advice, considering it's a lot different talking to people behind a screen versus right to their face, or in some cases, right to their head. Still not going to be able to get used to that. I feel more people would be more willing to open up a little bit without necessarily having to apply certain methods like a chisel and breaking away at things. So a lot of them just probably don't have as much experience with, well, being in this sort of situation. Not just the whole, being in a game thing, but just being stuck around a lot of people that they're not knowing long term. They fall back onto habits. Just, I guess, wanting to genuinely know about people is not really a bad thing to just say outright. And it doesn't, and not implying any sort of reason behind it, just, I think just being honest and saying, hey, we're all stuck in this situation. I want to be able to get to know the people that we're going to be relying upon, and talking about the things that we cared about in the past probably is a good idea, just to be able to talk with people in the event that something bad happens, and if it gets forgotten, well, someone might remember it.
No, is that so hard? That advice was very, very good. I will say.
Like I said, I'm just rambling. I don't really have any proper insight to this. It's not like normally you ask people online anything about their personal life. That's usually more of a bit of a taboo. So I'm not really used to that sort of thing.
Nonetheless, your advice is still taken into consideration, and if the time calls for it, I'll be, the simplest way to put it, I will be normal when asking people in this regard.
I mean, normal is a subjective term. I just meet them at their level. If they have that sort of energy towards you, give it to them back. If they have it where it's clear that they're more reserved, something a bit more their speed will probably work a little bit. I mean, it's probably going to take a little bit of work to get to that point with some, with how first impressions went, but some would probably be willing to at least, if it's clear that you're trying a different approach, I don't think people would completely shut you out. I think they'd probably just be a bit thrown off guard in terms of why is Evelyn talking to me and there hasn't been a single innuendo yet? But just letting them know, like, what you are like. Evelyn the person versus Evelyn the character.
Well, I guess that's easier said than done, knowing that the character Evelyn Black is basically still me. Because I've told you my line of work, but I never told you what I did beforehand, now did I?
I don't recall.
Well, before I became a luxury stripper, I, myself, was actually a government detective for 3 years. Hard to believe, that's for sure.
That is a wild change of occupation.
I get that a lot, but it's a reason why I do this for...
Why'd you leave it then?
Well, I didn't leave. I got fired. How do I put this? I kind of, sort of, maybe had intercourse with one of the fugitives and got fired for it.
I'm sorry. That... Out of all the ways that could have happened, that both makes the most sense and is just the most unexpected. Was it to try to get information out of them, or...?
It was. It didn't work, so they fired me for it, which I'm not complaining. Yet, I feel like if I stayed in that job, I would have been a whole different person than I am today, I will admit. One for the better, who knows?
Well, considering that sort of line of work basically requires you to not be able to open up to anyone else ever because of how much is, always a keep secret sort of thing. I can understand that. Though, out of all the options you had after that, you wanted to go into that?
Well, as a side thing, when I was a government detective, I liked dancing, and then one of my old friends decided to show me pole dancing, and that was a whole spiral that went into, well, you know the rest.
Yeah, that actually does track.
But I will admit this. The reason I solicit reactions out of others is because of my past work. Being a detective, I solicit reactions to see if their actions or their reactions give themselves away.
Honestly, that makes more sense than I want to give it credit for. Granted, that's just because it's not the sort of way that I think about interacting with people, but instinctual reactions do tend to be much more reflective of what the person is used to doing compared to, well, composed sort of sense of self.
Very much so.
I guess that's why it's a bit easier to talk about this when there's not the rest of the guild around, because, I mean, it's easier to talk to one person than 10.
I'm used to talking to crowds, or one or small group, but one-on-one conversations are a lot more personal, because it's just you and another person you hopefully trust to possibly get to know each other about more.
Yeah. I mean, I hope we can all get to trust each other at least enough that we can be honest with how we're feeling towards each other so that it doesn't come out in the middle of a situation like the one we dropped into when we first got there. Because I imagine that's not the last time something like that could ever happen. So
Very much true.
So it'd probably be good to be prepared, and I mean, eventually, if we're going to want to be able to be in a better position to actually respond to that sort of stuff instead of a little how helpless I felt at that time. I have to go out there and kind of experience that world ourselves. Build the experience that the others already have. I was probably going to do that in the coming day or so. Try to actually go out there, try something a bit more reasonable, as opposed to the system trying to kill us.
Well, if you ever decide to, I wouldn't mind being company. And if you're worried about me throwing any innuendos, I'll be sure to hold them back. Most of them.
Like I said, don't have to be other people's definition of normal. Just one dial click or two down is probably enough to please most people. And I mean, if others don't want to go because you're there, that's their fault. I mean, if they actually talk to you, I think they'd probably realize that you have, well, more normal interactions than they give credit for. And hey, more experience for us.
Very much so. That's one thing I do like to do. Sure, people think Evelyn the character and Evelyn the person are two different people, but they're the same. I like to keep true to myself throughout whatever I do and whatever I play.
Actually, wait.
Gimmick?
The way that you're putting it,
Mm-hmm.
did you just use your own name as your character's name?
I did.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better about mine. It's, not exactly the same. Like, I didn't use the same name as, mine, but it's almost kind of like a spin, but also reverse of my actual name.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Very well.
Character names: Lucia Vivienne. IRL's Vivienne LeBlanc.
Ah.
So I figured, it sounds fantasy-esque enough, and fits an elf. Makes sense for me. I wasn't super creative, and well, the other game had circles where it was a bit of a role-playing background, and they encouraged you to have actual sort of names as opposed to a username sort of thing, so I just kind of carried that over here too.
I see. But I will say in this regard, it is very nice to meet you, Miss Vivienne.
I think probably long term I'll go by Lucia. It's easier to think about that way. Vivienne is probably more of a... if people get to know me a bit more.
Speaking of that, actually, I meant to ask.
Hmm?
Me calling you Lulu, are you okay with this? If not, I can still stick to Lucia. I mean, after all, Lucia is a pretty name.
I wasn't sure how to respond to it exactly, but it's not a bad nickname. I just not used to getting one from people, so...
That's fair. Well, out of respect for you, I will call you Lucia.
Maybe eventually I can handle nicknames, but I think I have to get better to being around people first.
That will take some use too, I will admit. Because I will tell you something, actually. And I trust that you won't tell anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Back when I was in high school, I used to be a shut-in.
I find that really hard to believe with the way that you're able to be so confident in social situation. Uh,
That's very
oh
hard,
dear.
I will say.
I think I set an alarm for something.
I see.
Did I lose track of stuff? Oh, I did. I grabbed it from home just to have something to keep track of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I must have lost track a bit of time. I'm sorry if I have to cut this a little bit short, but
No, it's perfectly fine.
I
I
hope
did
this
enjoy our conversation.
I hope this at least met some of the expectation, or at least what you were hoping for out of that invitation.
In all honesty, I didn't have any expectations, but if I did, you blew them right out of the water, and I am glad to have a lovely conversation with you.
Then I'm glad that it was something nice for you, at least. I figured it would be a nice change of pace for you compared to all the people being rude.
You get used to it. I will say this as well. If you ever just want to have a conversation with me at all, my tent is always open for you.
Sure. Probably be easier than going out of the area every single time we want to talk to each other.
Very much so. But don't let me keep you waiting. I'll see you back at camp, alright?
Okay. Thanks. This was actually nice.
I enjoyed my time as well.
And big cards down. Generally head back, same general direction of things. Only thing I'll make a note of before I go, since like I said, I have 13 minutes before heading out. So excuse me. I know. Please leave. I'm ready soon. That's the one who I was literally knowing is going to check the moment that I had that alarm set. She would be a lot less, a little bit less timid than she was on the way there. She's not like, you know, glancing around and such, or she's just normally walking.
Okay. Gotcha.
But anyways, I do have to go ahead and go because I guess they're wanting to leave a little bit earlier than they said they wanted to, so...
You're good. Have fun.
I will. Have a good night.